too.
discussion where I've had not been party to your discussion.
And
I
he's
agree.
not, he's not asking for that.
I
think-
I would
I
appreciate
honestly-
if the board would move on.
I honestly think we can move on, and I think once Michael gets the evaluation, the worksheet, I think this will solve this whole issue we've been talking about the last 20 minutes.
Thank
I
you.
honestly do.
I think.
And
I
I'll
think-
work with him, I'll get it to him,
Thank you.
all right? And don't, Greg, you shouldn't be defensive. He's not looking to put you on the
Well, I
spot.
don't-
Listen,
He's
I'm not putting you on the
it's not-
spot.
It's not
It's not
put-
about you,
It's
Greg.
not about you, it's not putting you on the
This
spot.
isn't about you.
I think we can move on.
We can have a sidebar, and I can give you some inside information on why I'm bringing it up.
Town Administrator's report.
Please refer to the yellow sheet that's in your packet, number 7, please. A couple of things. Fire Captain Donald Cook will be retiring this Thursday after 32 years of service to the town. I want to personally thank Don for his work and wish him well in his retirement. Firefighter Tom Harris is being promoted as the acting captain. He will serve as an acting captain until the civil service list is available. It's a civil service promotion. The exam was held back in November. We're awaiting the results of that examination. So when that is done, there'll be a hiring process that we'll be engaged in. But the most important thing is to thank Captain Cook for his service, and I do want to say that this evening.
Just, Don Cook has been a terrific public servant for, 32 years plus, but is, really, I've worked with him over the years, having been a member of the board, and sat across the table in negotiations with him, and he's been a good advocate for his membership. He's never lost sight of the needs of the community, and he's served the community extremely well, and I wish him a good, long, happy retirement. He's a great guy.
I wish him the same in his retirement. What I'll remember, my first introduction to Don Cook was when I first ran for office, and I scheduled a meeting with Chief Harris. And I walked into the fire department, and not only was it Chief Harris in the room, but there was 6 other firefighters who I thought I was under the spotlight, and I thought I was interrogated by these guys that are sitting right out here from the police department. And Don Cook came to my defense after about 6 questions that were fired by one particular firefighter. So, I appreciate him coming to my defense in that regard, but I also wish him Godspeed in his retirement. He certainly deserves it.
I too wish Don Cook a great retirement, a long retirement, spend time with his family and so on. I too have sat at the fire department and met with them when I ran for office, and they had their opinions and their thoughts and so on, and Don was there and is very professional and handled himself very, very well. So I do wish him all the best in retirement. So.
Do we give a gold watch when they leave or something? 33 years?
We do. I think we do. It's a good point.
It's phenomenal.
It's good run. And I wa-
It's, I think Don, along with any of our long-serving members of the police and fire department that get to happy retirement age, the town should be much appreciative.
Yeah.
Their efforts, their participation, and their years of service. And I wish Don a very, very long and happy retirement. On another note, is there some formal ceremony or something being held?
I'm not aware of one.
You're not?
Nope.
If you hear of it, would you let me know? Let the board know? Next item?
Next is update on snow. You had included in your packet a breakdown of snow expenses to date. Substantial. One of the things that was done over the weekend, if you noticed that the snow was removed from the roofs of all the municipal buildings, municipal officials and school officials have been concerned about the weight of the snowpack on the roofs, particularly in the flat areas. So over the weekend, the town hall, the DPW garage, the library, and the police and fire stations, snow was removed. There will obviously be a cost that we'll have to pay for that, but it's something that we do need to do to preserve our facilities and make sure that there's not a crisis.
I take it those costs are not included in this amount
They're
at this
not.
point?
They're not.
Did we use outside?
We did. We used outside services to do the buildings. Yeah.
The 575 number is the total cost through that date.
It is, and the only thing that would be missing is the cost of the snow removal over the weekend.
So the deficit is 275 roughly?
275 plus. And we're hopeful that there'll be something that'll be coming from Mass Emergency Management on the January 11th and 12th storm, but I'm not holding out hope that we will receive reimbursement. I think it's just formality at this point. And given the fact that the storms have been severe throughout the country, I would be surprised if anything comes of that.
Did we, this is changing subjects a little bit, but did we ever get the balance of the FEMA money?
We received a little bit over $50,000. There's $130,000 that's still owed to the town.
And has that been approved?
Yes, it's been approved, but the money has not been forthcoming.
Greg, has there been any reports of commercial residential roofs?
Not in North Reading. I know that there was one in Reading, but no, in North Reading, it seems like everything is moving along pretty well. Yeah.
I didn't know Middleton had a few
Right.
too.
Middleton also, yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Oh, that's great.
Hey, Greg, if I may. I think it's important to highlight the efforts this past week between the DPW and the schools, sending out notices to the community, letting them know what they're doing, giving it their best effort. I know that, I'm sure that the DPW has been inundated with a lot of calls. They've addressed all of them as quickly as they could. They've worked hard in pushing widening the roads. After the initial clearing of the roads, they've worked hard at clearing the corners to try to make them safe. They've worked hard in trying to get the sidewalks as clear as they possibly can. And I understand that there's a certain amount of impatience under these circumstances, but they've been inundated with storm after storm, and they've really, in my estimation, have done as good of a job as you could under the circumstances, and they do need to be commended in that regard. We always have to keep in mind that, we're a community as well, and there's something that we can do as a community, and that's help in keeping the sidewalks clear. The DPW moves the hard stuff out of the way, but there's nothing wrong with a resident or a business in cleaning up afterwards and scraping it down to the cement so it could be safe for everybody. I have to compliment Ernie Batchelder, who does between Eames and Nutter. He does that right as soon as the snow is cleared and some people can begin walking on the sidewalk there on Park Street, because that's a very busy street and students use those streets all the time to get to the bus stop. Coda Funeral Home has been excellent in that regard. They pretty much do it right away. But that's what we need to do as a community, and not because the Senior Judicial Court said that it's the law that you have to maintain safe and clear sidewalks. It's not only because the town has a law on the books requiring businesses to clear their sidewalks. It's something that we have to, as a close community, out of respect for everybody, is that when the tough stuff is moved out of the way, that we, as neighbors to one another, get out there and clear the fire hydrants, clear the sidewalks, and things like that. It's been done a lot more this year than it has been in the past, but we need to come forward, because when I see people walking in the street after the sidewalk has been plowed, it's not because the town did a bad job. The town got 4 feet of snow out of the way, okay? We can move the 3 inches off the sidewalk. So I'd like to see more of that, because we are a close community. And so I thank everybody who's been coming out and doing the best they could. There's a fellow, Mr. Turner, who was at 7 o'clock at night, was on top of Eames Street there, cutting down the corner. I took a picture of him, cutting down, because it was so high that he couldn't see when he came out of Eames. That's a very dangerous corner. But he just took it into his own hands in a benevolent way and lowered the intersection, and so everybody, not only him, but everybody can get by, so. The DPW's is doing a fantastic job. Thank you.
Greg?
Next is the board has received notice from the Attorney General approving general and zoning bylaw amendments from the October 2010 town meeting. There were two general bylaws. One of them affected dog licensing. The second one was the board's authority to enact emergency water regulations. You have a copy of the opinion from the Attorney General. It's, there's a lot of detail in there that's lawyerly, and council will be made aware of it. However, under the emergency water regulations, just says that the board shouldn't be taking actions that are inconsistent with state law. Basically means that prior to you voting any water regulations, we'll have to have them reviewed by council. That's all it really means. So they need to be published. You'll see them published by the town clerk, and then they become official as of the date of publication. Next is the 2010 audit will be completed next week. I think the board had asked me about the schedule on that. The chairman is going to need to sign the standard representation letter with myself and the finance director. And then the auditors will be scheduled to meet with you once the management letter is complete. And then lastly on my report is you have a copy of the approval of the license granted to the Great American Tavern, 303 Main Street. Approval by the Alcoholic Beverage Control Commission in what I see as record time. Doesn't happen that often. Thank you very much.
Greg, on your report, you talked about the delivery notices being done,
Yes.
but didn't we have one opening still? Northeast Limo?
No, the paperwork has been submitted.
Oh, it has?
Yes. So the board had asked for documentation about the garaging of those vehicles in North Reading, and that's been received, and it was satisfactory.
That's right, because we did end it up.
We approved it
ended up-
with the caveat
That's
that
right.
it would be.
Oh, that's done, okay, good, thank you.
Any other questions for Greg? Jeffrey, you want to start?
Well, I think I said what I was gonna say, which is good news, but I just, to everybody out there, the conditions are tough. Be careful at those intersections. I've already witnessed a crash on the corner of where I live, so I want everybody to just drive carefully and take caution to how they normally drive. And I also want to say happy birthday to my children, Janelle and Joe. They just turned 16. They can get their learner's permit, getting ready to be on the road, so nice future.
That's why he has a nice big new.
You
vehicle
notice
there.
his-
A nice safe vehicle.
You notice his hair is getting grayer.
Thank you.
Sure.
I'm all set.
Michael,
All set.
Steve?
Just to echo a little bit what Jeff said, very trying conditions for the Department of Public Works and Public Safety personnel. And I know that police and fire have been getting their fair share of calls too the last few weeks. They've been extremely busy. And I think they've responded very well, and under the conditions, DPW has done a good job. And I don't know, pray for some sunshine.
We could use it.
But I'd tell you, I had to go out on the road Sunday briefly, and there wasn't much traffic. There were more people on roofs than there were on the road, and,
You know, I think
including myself.
the
you know.
news got everybody
Oh, I think it got everybody
activated.
activated, and I didn't hear of anybody falling off the roof, and that's a good thing.
No, I
Yeah.
thought that, Greg, didn't you tell me that there was some incidents of people falling?
Were there?
Not
Fire
that
Well,
I'm
department.
aware.
if you're gonna do
Someone
that,
told
just
me.
be careful.
No, they were probably tubing off the roof.
Just be careful, because I know the snowbanks in my yard and around my house have never been this high from my recollection, so.
Well, ditto to Steve's comments regarding being careful in Jeff's. I think the one thing that everyone can do is slow down when approaching intersections and keep your eye out for people backing out of their driveway